5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, Christ alive. Okay, yeah, stuff happened. Stuff definitely happened at the end there. In the last second. Okay. So you've heard of first mint era Britannia, yes, but what about second mint era Britannia? Like the hobbits of the coin era world at the moment, these are coming in thick and fast. This is the coin that we recently auctioned over on eBay. It was a very, very successful auction. And of course, the flipping market is doing its thing, and there is another MS69 up for grabs. However, I'm not selling this one. This is one that is in the Coins of the Realm auction that is currently live. There are links in the description box below to the Coins of the Realm auction website. They ship worldwide. They welcome international bidders and buyers. So if you're interested in getting what I think is the holy grail of the mint era of the year, of the decade, of the century, then there is no better place than the Coins of the Realm auction house to go and bid on this particular coin. So a big thank you to Coins of the Realm for allowing us to film with this coin before that auction goes live. We'll be sending it off to them and it'll be with them right there and then, shipped from them. It's a really special piece. Now, if you've been living under a rock and you don't know what's gone on with this, and I'll hold my hand up, the last video I did talking about it, when I was talking about my auction for this one, I had a few comments of people saying, well, what's the actual error? I kind of just assume that everybody knows by now because it was such a big error, but I think that's also slightly testament to the fact that the Royal Mint still refuses to sort of engage with these error coins, in that they have not put out any formal public statements. They've not put out any newsletters or anything like that. So we've done a lot of legwork with the Royal Mint to get out of them some of the information, as have Chards, the Bullion company that found these error coins. But again, this is the coin that the Royal Mint doesn't really want to talk about because it is a representation of how badly they dropped the ball. So in summary, this is what happened. They made a big boo-boo. They put the wrong blanks. So in the world of coins, a planchet, so you can see here on £5 CUNI planchet, that is a wrong planchet. So a planchet is the blank that the Royal Mint gets. Now, a lot of people don't necessarily know this now because I guess it's just not on everybody's radar, but the Royal Mint doesn't make its own blanks or its own planchets anymore. It just gets them in from third parties. And that I feel like is a little bit of a shame. And this is not supposed to be a Royal Mint bashing video. It's very much more of a, hey look, this is one of the coolest coins that's out there in the entire world and you should definitely consider it if you're a big error coin fan. But at the end of the day, the Royal Mint has siphoned off the large proportions of its business that made it pretty cool and unique, which was its metal refining, its metal foundry, producing and stamping its own blanks, and then of course stamping its own coins. Now it just brings in blanks from third parties, sticks them into a machine, it stamps them, it puts them in a box, and then off it goes. And that's, I think, a little bit sad in many ways because it's losing quite a lot of the history. But it also has produced this massive error because somewhere in that production chain, and I don't think we're ever really going to truly know exactly how that happened, but these copper nickel blanks, which weigh 28.28 grams, so considerably less than 31.1 that a silver blank should weigh, were mistakenly put into the production line. So a box of empty blanks were put in, and 209 of them, so there's a certificate that Chards have put together here with some of the information. I'll put a link as well to the video that Chards published about this when they were revealing to the world what had happened. But 209 of these made it out to a trade customer, which was pretty big news at the time. We helped break that news when I visited Chards, and then the whole thing went kind of parabolic around the world, which is pretty scary stuff. Lots of people didn't believe it, which is hilarious, and then I don't know, maybe fueling part of the conspiracy theories from my own side, I withdrew a video that I'd published because I was like, well, I don't want the drama of it, but you know, okay. And then that fueled more conspiracies that I'd been cease and desisted by the Royal Mint or Chards even, which is completely hilarious. But no, none of that was true. They identified 209, Chards did. Royal Mint then did a full investigation, and they then sort of getting blood from a stone from them. It was quite funny, but we managed to get out of them that they had found other coins in their storage facility that were affected or were these copper nickel blanks. They then have said in a statement to me that I was able to share publicly that they've destroyed those extra ones they found. Now, I don't think we're going to really ever truly know. I'm not saying that they're lying about that. I don't disbelieve it. They've put a public statement out about that. So if they have lied about that, that's a pretty big thing. So there's a Freedom of Information request that's been put in by somebody over on the Silver Forum. And that'll be really interesting and telling to see whether or not the Royal Mint even engage with that properly. They've acknowledged it, but whether they fully engage with that and supply answers to the questions that they've asked about how and what effects and what they found out through their investigations and the processes that they put in place to avoid this in the future. That'll be really interesting to find out. But one thing that we cannot ignore is the desirability of these coins, which is what I kind of want to finish this video by talking about. Look, there's a double-edged entendre here, double entendre here, in that obviously we're promoting this auction, we're promoting this coin. You know, I sold one at auction myself, but that doesn't come without the risk and liability of this. And to go it through a proper professional auction house like Coins of the Realm, I think is a really good place to sell these kind of coins. So we're sharing the news about it, but I genuinely think that these are fantastic coins. Now, look, I've got an MS69 version of this coin, still in with NGC of all places. It's not come back to me yet. Am I going to sell mine for multi-thousands of pounds when I get it back? No, and the reason for that is because right now, there's chatter in the market, there's chatter in the community that these coins are experiencing a really big pullback in prices, which I think is just victim of their own success in many ways, because they have been so successful, and people, you know, buying these coins for a couple of £100 for raw ones, or, you know, 500 or even £1,000 for this. I think it was £1,000 all in for this particular MS69 coin. If you can flip this for £3,000, £4,000, £5,000, you're laughing your way to the bank. However, my view is that these are such rare examples of such rare errors that they are going to be worth more in the future. Now, that's not me saying that you should go and buy this coin for £5,000 at auction because it's going to be worth £10,000 next year. Not at all. For me, I'm in a luxurious position by which I don't need to sell the coins that I've got until I get to a point where I want to, where perhaps I'm going to use that money for something, I don't know, my retirement, or buying my kids some houses, or helping them get on the, you know, the property ladder. So I'm not in that position to do it. So I've got this double luxury where I can hold it. But I think that these coins are a very exemplary specimen of a failure in a process by which the Royal Mint really shouldn't have failed at all. Now, the Royal Mint's learned from this. They've had a big shock, I have no doubt, and it would be very interesting to see what happens in the future, if there will ever be anything like this that happens again. I don't think there will be. It would be pretty amazing if it did, which is why I think these are going to be so sought after and rare in that long term. There's no guarantee though. And these are premium items, and they're not like bullion. You can't just buy these and take them into a bullion dealer, because there will be issues on getting your premium out of it at the other end. So you don't own a coin like this without going into it with your eyes fully open. So if you're interested, links in the description box below to the Coins of the Realm website, where you can look at this on their auction page. You can bid. As I mentioned, international bidders welcome. You can bid and they will ship worldwide. Fantastic company. Great customer service, great customer experience. I've been buying coins with them for a very long time. So that is it from me. Thank you all for watching. Good luck if you're going to be going and bidding on that. I can't believe that right now I'm sitting here on a table with 2 of these 69 graded coins in front of me. Pretty crazy, but it's sad enough that I have to wrap this up and say goodbye to it today. But it's doubly sad that I have to wrap this one up and send this off to the Coins of the Realm as well. I'd love to keep both of these coins for the long term, but alas, they are not mine to keep. So there we go. That's it from me. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you on the next video. As always, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.